Here is your latest African news. South Africa, stay out of it. Julius Malema calls on France to stay away from Africa's business. Malema has told President Macron to stay out of Africa's business. He spoke about the chaos witnessed at the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, last week. The meeting drew criticism after physical altercations and persistent disruptions stalled proceedings in Midrand. The 40-year-old has defended those scenes, however, arguing that robust debate is needed when tackling serious issues. However, he wasn't so forgiving when it came to assessing why things got so violent. He blamed a cohort of countries, allegedly under the influence of France, for trying to block the rotation of leaders in the House. Julius Malema states that the French are interfering with the process in order to ensure they keep their choices of candidates in power. The Gambia. African descendants hold first ever symposium. African descendants residing in the Gambia held their first ever symposium with members of the National Assembly, human rights activists, historians, and stakeholders. The lawmaker for Central Badibu, who chaired the symposium, said African descendants are finally reaching the promised land, Africa. Mr. Saho added that all African descendants have a right to their land, and the African Union must look at each country's constitution in Africa to ensure all the elements that are essential to agree on a protocol on how to ensure that those who want to return now can be given the opportunity to do so to any country of their choice. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe court upholds Chief Justice's right to resume work despite his age. Zimbabwe's High Court judge on Thursday backed Chief Justice Luke Malaba's right to resume work despite a previous ruling that the president's decision to extend Malaba's tenure breached the constitution because he has turned 70. The Malaba case has become the focus of a tussle between the High Court and President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who introduced a constitutional amendment that raised the retirement of constitutional and Supreme Court judges to 75 from 70. Lawyers have challenged the amendment, but Malaba has resumed his work, prompting one of the lawyers to file contempt of court charges against the Chief Justice. South Africa. UAE ratifies extradition deal with South Africa as hunt for Guptas intensifies. The United Arab Emirates has ratified a 2018 extradition treaty with South Africa, its embassy in Pretoria said on Wednesday, a move that Cyril Ramaphosa's government hopes will lead to the return of the Gupta brothers to face corruption charges. South Africa signed the treaty with the UAE in late 2018, part of Ramaphosa's effort to crack down on those accused of corruption and influence peddling under his predecessor, Mr. Jacob Zuma. It was ratified in April, UAE's embassy said in a statement. The Gupta brothers, Atul, Ajay and Rajesh Gupta, are accused of using connections with Jacob Zuma to win contracts, misappropriate state assets, inappropriately influence cabinet appointments, and siphon off billions of rands in state funds. Horn of Africa. Egypt and Sudan urge Ethiopia to negotiate seriously over the giant dam. Sudan and Egypt agreed on Wednesday to coordinate efforts to push Ethiopia to negotiate seriously on an agreement on filling and operating a giant dam it is building on the Blue Nile, a joint statement has recently said. The two countries, which are downstream from the dam, issued the statement after African Union-sponsored talks remained deadlocked. Ethiopia is pinning its hopes of economic development and power generation on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Egypt fears the dam will imperil its water supply, and Sudan is concerned about the impact on its own water flows. Talks overseen by the AU aimed at reaching a binding agreement have repeatedly stalled. Nigeria to sell unused power to 4 countries. Nigeria is currently in talks with 4 West African countries to sell unused electricity to them through a planned $570 million North Core power transmission line. The acting management director of the transmission company of Nigeria and chairman of the executive board of the Western African Power Pool, Mr. Abdulaziz, stated this on Wednesday during the WAPP meeting on the North Core project in Abuja. About 2,000 megawatts of electricity is said to be utilized daily across the generation companies in Nigeria and could be exported. Nigeria is expecting new generators to participate in the energy export for the 875-kilometer North Core transmission line from Nigeria through Niger, Togo, Benin, and Burkina Faso. West Africa. France to scale down West Africa military operations. France is to scale down counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel region of West Africa after 8 years. President Emmanuel Macron has announced the existing 5,100 task force will be incorporated into a broader international mission. French forces have been operating in Mali, Chad, Mauritania, Niger, Burkina Faso to fight militants. Last week, France paused operations in Mali following a military coup. Kenya. Kenyan President offers jobs to illegal gun makers. President Uhuru Kenyatta has extended an offer to makers of homemade firearms in Kenya, promising them steady jobs at the newly launched small weapons facility in Ruiru. The head of state spoke at the Regional Police Traffic Training Center in Ngong on Wednesday, while setting fire to 5,144 illegal small arms and light weapons. A majority of the illegal firearms were voluntarily surrendered by the public who heeded government amnesty offers and through the diligence of Kenya's security agencies. The majority of the weapons recovered, according to head of state, appear to have been assembled locally at home. Thank you so much for watching. Visit our YouTube channel, Tuna Cheki, to watch our weekly news report and our website at tunacheki.tv for all the latest African news updates. You can directly support this new series by becoming our YouTube member or becoming a patron. And remember, Africa is watching. And please feel free to leave your suggestions, news tips, or topics about Africa that you'd like us to explore.